Afghanistan. Engineer Asgabat Shah, Project Management Specialist, Construction Management Specialist, FIDIC, Lettering, Drafting, and Project Specialist, Assistant Ari, starting the second part 2 of the Building Construction MCQ series. Without further ado, let's go to our question. So there's a question, it's indicating and asking about, this is question number 1, right? So the question is asking regarding Raymond pile. So what is pile? First of all, I'm going to ask you this question: what is pile? So in case of Raymond piles, length vary from 6 meters to 12 meters. Diameter of top piles varies from 40 centimeter to 60 centimeter. Top piles. Diameter of pile at bottom varies from 20 centimeter to 28 centimeter, 28 centi. Thickness of outer shell depends upon pile diameter. So what is mean by thickness of outer shell? So the best answer and the correct answer is all of the above, right? So Raymond file. So Raymond files are actually pile which is actually constructed and which is driven into the soil, right? What kind of soil? Loose soil, hard soil, saturated soil, unsaturated soil, stratified soil, unstratified soil, clay soil, silty soil. So actually, why we use piles? That's my question. Like for example, there's also a pile which is driven into the earth surface, and that's called mandrel, right? Or this is end bearing piles, and this is friction pile, and this is a tension pile, right? End bearing piles, which is soft material, soft materials, and friction pile having the friction inside it. So to talk about the Raymond piles, if I talk about the Raymond piles for construction, so Raymond step taper concrete pile, and then Raymond standard concrete pile. So it's having the concrete, and then it's having a steel shell. All right. So this is a Raymond piles, and in this case it's having concrete, then it's a steel shell, and then it's a screw connections at top and at the middle. So that's called Raymond step taper concrete pile. And a Raymond pile having no steel, having no screw connections in the middle, are just slightly down from the middle, and from the top is called Raymond standard concrete pile. And the shape of this Raymond step taper concrete pile, because it's having this step, is different than having the Raymond standard concrete pile. So that's a building construction MCQ series, and that's the author description. So Raymond piles. So what is Raymond piles? So actually a Raymond pile is a pile made by drilling a thin steel shell into the ground. So I have asked you already that what kind of ground. Write down in the comment box if you really wish to answer, and if you know the answer, what kind of soil, what are the recommended soil at which we drilling a thin steel shell, which is called Raymond pile. So what are the ground types? So with a tapered mandrel, we have a tapered mandrel and filling it with a concrete, so that's called Raymond piles, right? So this type of pile is constructed in length varying from 6 meter to 12 meter. It is actually the length, but here the length is not in longitudinal wise. It's the length is represent here the drilling length, which we drilling the Raymond pile into the ground surface. The diameter of the pile varies from 40 centimeter at top, right? 40 to 60 centimeter. So we know that. So varies from 40 to 60 centimeter at top. We talking about this type of diameter, and the base diameter is vary from 20 to 28 centimeter. We know that 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeter, so dividing 40 by 2.54 will give you 15.74 inch is the diameter of 40 centimeter. And if you then divide this by 12, so it's give you 1.31 feet is the diameter if it is 40 centimeter at top. If it's 60 centimeters, 60 divided by 2.54 is equal to 23.62 inch. So if you divide by 12, so it is almost 1.96 feet, 2 feet. So 2 feet is almost the top diameter of the Raymond pile if it is 60 centimeter diameter. And similarly, if it's 20 centimeters divided by 2.54, it's 7.87 inch. Or divided by 12, so it's 0.65 feet, almost half feet. And if it's 28 centimeter at base, the diameter, so divided by 2.54, so it's 11.02 inch if it's a 28 centimeter diameter of Raymond pile at its base, and divided by 12 is equal to 0.91 feet, right? So that's the details which I share with you, and these are the skills that the badshots just share with you right now. So one thing is actually highlighted here. It's see the thickness of the outer shell depends upon diameter. So it depends upon actually this top diameter, and it's also depends upon the base diameter, right? Yeah, it also depends upon this base diameter. So these parameters will absolutely this will depend on this, right? Absolutely. And this is also depend on this, the thickness. I'm talking about thickness, right? The T thickness, yeah. So this thickness will depend upon the top of piles varies, diameter of top piles, and then diameter of pile at bottom. It will depend upon that. So the correct answer is all of the above, right? So these are different images of piles, right? And that's reinforcement and of that pile, and that's a spiral ties. That's a spiral ties. You can see the rotation of the mouse, okay? And that's this when I am actually drawing this pile by this instrument to this side exert a reaction force, upward force. So it's in the form of friction. That is why one of the files is called friction bearing file, a friction come bearing pile. I will discuss all the type of files in details. I made a separate tutorial on that. So piling is actually a process. Piling is actually the process of drilling or boring pile, right? Just like we are doing boring. So boring word means excavating something, right? Excavating. So boring pile foundations into the ground beneath a building. It is drilling beneath the building that is under construction. Now these piles transfer load from the structure, the superstructure, to the ground, and then to the substructure, which is pile foundation. And the process called piling help to support it, right? So this is basically for transformation of loads, okay? Now if I can talk about the Raymond pile length, so we have already discussed that, like it's varies from 6 meter to 12 meters depending upon the site conditions and the requirement of the building load and the designer suggestions regarding the type of soil which is embedding these piles or driving in the form of or boring downtown the ground, right? Question number 2, queen closer may be placed in. Talking about the queen closer. So an header course and stretcher course, and header course next to first brick and stretcher course next to first brick in any position. So queen closer will be placed in a header course next to first brick, right? Yeah. So let me show you. So what is queen closer? A queen closer is a brick that is less than half a brick. Specifically a brick of full length and thickness but half width that is used at the end of a course next to the queen header. Compare king closer, right? So queen closer, give me more. When a brick is cut along its length, making it two equal halves. So when the brick is cut equally in the middle, then the one portion is called queen closer. Thus a queen closer is a broken brick portion whose width is half as wide as the original brick, right? So that's a queen closer. The brick is cut in such a way, the brick is cut actually along its length, right? In this case, queen closer, like this is full brick, but this is cut along its length, right? If I cut brick in this direction, then I'm cutting brick along its width, right? But if I'm cutting brick in this direction, then I'm cutting this brick along its length. This is the length of the brick, right? Yeah, this is the length, and this is the width. So when a brick is cut along its length, making it two equal halves, then it is called queen closer. So this is queen closer half, this is queen closer quarter, right? So queen closer is a broken brick because this is a full brick and this is a broken brick. A queen closer is a broken brick portion, right? A queen closer is a broken brick portion whose width is half. Like this is the full width of the brick, so this is the half width of the brick, right? Whose width is half, as wide as the original brick. The queen closer width will be half as that of the full brick. That's a wall construction, and that's a queen closer, right? Yeah, that's a stretcher course, and that's a header stretcher. It's a stretcher course. I'm taking some reference from the YouTube channel Civil Education Room, and king closer, as we have already discussed, that this is king closer, and I've discussed in the first tutorial. You can watch that. The queen closer discussed. This is the beloved closer, right? So it's just like the king closer, but the king closer is cut in such a way that its full length is then become half length. The full length become the half length, which is equal to the width of the brick. But in a beloved closer, it's cut it in such a manner that its width become half width, as wide as the full brick. But then it's cut in such a way to reach this point. This is metric closer, which is cut it in a 45 to 60 degree angle. This is half bat. Half brick is called half bat. Bat, this is half bat. And this is 3/4 brick. When the brick is cut 3/4 portion, this length is 3/4 portion of the full length. So it's called 3/4 bat. The main purpose of providing queen closer is to break the vertical joint between two adjacent upper and bottom courses. To break the joint, the vertical joint, so we provide queen closer. So the correct answer is queen closer may be placed in header course next to first brick, right? Question number 3. Dado is used for, or is usually provided in, so it's provided in bathrooms. So what is Dado? Let us discuss.